What is up, everybody? This is Keith Jamison. I go by Gator Guy 231 across the DFS industry, and I am pumped to be back breaking down another EPL DFS slate on the Mayo Media Network. Thank you so much to Pat and team for giving me the opportunity, and for Soccer DFS the opportunity to have a great platform to get more and more people interested in what's an awesome sport to watch and even a better sport to play DFS. Quick reminder, that button at the bottom right of the screen is the subscribe button. If I can say it right, need to hit it. The Mayo Media Network has amazing content from all the sports, and you do want to check out all of those things. So make sure you hit that. Also, like and comment on this video so they can tell that you enjoy having me on. So I'm invited back yet again. I've truly enjoyed it, and I'll be checking those comments. So if you want, let's have a little bit of fun with the comments. Hit your favorite of the midfielders. I'm going to bring it up. So I'm going to be bringing up some lower tier midfielders I think you're going to have to fill out a lineup this week. Those are Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We got Curtis Jones, Harrison Reed, and then Oliver Norwood. So comment, and if you think that it's none of the above, give me who your favorite play is, and let's talk about it. Final plug, actually two final plugs. Make sure you're doing DFS picks and bets on any of your podcast channels. You want to have that as well in case you can't get to YouTube. And finally, last one, I promise we're going to get right into the soccer. But if you want to hear more from me, this is a high level overview of the EPL slate. I do a more detailed breakdown on the FSI DFS YouTube channel. You can see it down there. Make sure you check us out. Give us a subscribe as well. We have some phenomenal content. And, look, free DFS content out there is all meant to help you guys continue to become better DFS players. Not only the Mayo Media Network, FSI DFS, just so many great sites out there. Make sure you're checking out the content and all the talented people that are bringing it to you. All right, enough plugs. Let's get into the picks. So let's just start out just by saying that DraftKings made this pricing really weird. So Liverpool is the biggest favorite and the biggest total. And what is a massive game this weekend in the Merseyside Derby. If you can't tell, I am a Liverpool supporter. Huge game, massive win midweek versus Red Bull Leipzig. I think they're going to carry that momentum into Saturday, and what really could be the most pivotal game of the season thus far. Liverpool is right on the edge of the top four. They have to get Champions League qualification to really just bridge the gap of these finances and all the players that they're bringing in. Just a huge financial burden, especially in COVID times. These teams need that extra Champions League income. So I think Liverpool is going to be putting their best foot forward. And here's where the slate gets weird, okay? Because typically, DraftKings, when you have an overwhelming favorite and you have the biggest total, the gap between the high upside forwards, guys like Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, and the floor plays or the safer set guys from not big favorites like Lookman and McNeil would be wide. You would see Salah and Mane where they are 10-5 and 10-3, but then you see Lookman and McNeil 8,200, 7,600 to make you make a decision. Are you going to chase upside? You're going to go for the goals, or are you going to go for the floors? Well, on this slate, DraftKings did not do that. We got Mo Salah at 10-5. We have Sadio Mane at 10-3. Ademola Lookman, who has nowhere near the upside and actually a similar floor to those guys, at only a $300 discount to Mane at 10,000. Dwight McNeil, 9,600. I've been playing DFS since I remember Dwight McNeil's first game. I remember because I was trying to debate if he had set pieces or not. He was a cheap forward. I think it was their under 21 player of the year. Didn't play him, had set pieces, crushed me. I still remember that. I would never pay 9,600 for Dwight McNeil when Sadio Mane is 10-3 and Mo Salah is 10-5. And let's talk about why I think the majority of people are just going to jam in Mo Salah and Sadio Mane. Mo Salah at 10-5 is the league's leading scorer. Everton right now is struggling. They were really awful versus City. And then they just laid an egg versus Fulham in a game that they really should have won, coming off a phenomenal performance in the FA Cup versus Tottenham. So I don't think Everton's in the best of form right now. Liverpool, they needed that Leipzig win. I just mentioned it, but they needed that to catapult. I'm looking forward to them keeping that momentum here. So Salah and Mane are, my two forwards that I'm going to play, unless something crazy happens. That does eat a ton of your salary up, right? That's 20,800, but you get tons of upside. And then Sadio Mane, has amazing floor considering the fact that he does not have set pieces. But listen to these numbers. Versus Leicester, no goal, and these are floor numbers, no goals, no assists, 9.8. Versus City, 7.6. Let's skip over Tottenham because I don't want to count how many floor points came on his eruption. He scored 32.4 DK with a goal and assist. But the game before versus Burnley, 16 floor points, 7.8 versus Man U, 11 versus Southampton, 9.7 versus Newcastle. You get the picture. He has a floor. So, given that he's only 300 more than Lookman, I just can't see a way that you don't play Sadio Mane. One other forward that I would consider is go down to 6,100 for Jay Rodriguez. Chris Wood, still not fit. Vidira might make the match day squad, but it doesn't seem like he's that close. This is being taped on Thursday night. So Jay Rodriguez in his last 2 starts has 12.2 DK and 23.6 DK. Look, he's a talented striker back to his Southampton days. Never like fully, realized, I guess, his potential. He was really well thought of, but has had a goal and assist versus Crystal Palace en route to the 23.6 and an assist versus Fulham for 12.2. Both times played 90 minutes. Looked really good in link-up play with Ashley Barnes, who, look, I was looking when the slate came out, like, okay, maybe like Ashley Barnes is like 6,500. No, he is, I don't even see it. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm on midfield. 8,800 for Ashley Barnes. What a world we live in. Can't do it. All right, let's go to midfield. And now that you see, and look, if you looked at the thumbnail, Trent Alexander-Arnold, we'll get to it when we get to defender, but he's the top 4 play on the entire slate. There's no chance that I'm fading him. So when you add in that you spent a total of 20,800 on Salah and Mane, and then another 7,400 on Alexander-Arnold, there's not a lot of salary left. So that's why we're going to be dropping down at midfield. Look, I think the top midfield only play on the slate is Matthias Pereira, an absolute class player for West Bromwich Albion. Look, West Brom stinks, but Burnley ain't that much better. So I think there's a really good chance that Pereira has a really good game. Look, if you pay down for J-Rod, there's a good chance that you might be able to play Pereira. And look, this is why you very well should consider him. Versus Manchester United. West Brom had less than 30% of possession, put up 8 DK. 8 floor points. Versus Sheffield United, 9.1 floor points. Versus Fulham, he scored a goal, got 18.4. This is the impressive one. Versus Manchester City, West Brom loses 5-0. He still puts up 9 floor points. Goal versus West Ham, 2 goals versus Wolves. Matthias Pereira, when West Ham gets relegated, he needs a deal to stay up in the Premier League or another big league in Europe. He's an awesome player. Look, if you have the salary, if your builds work, he is the best midfield only play on the slate. But personally, I don't know if I'm going to get there. Let's look down further and let's get to the players that I talked about at the top and who I want you to comment on. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Chelsea loanee, super talented player. Look, it's been interesting the last few games. It's been the last 2 that Fulham kind of changed up the formation. They had been playing wingbacks, put Loftus-Cheek as more of like a attacking midfielder role, like a number 10 role. He's changed it up a little bit and hasn't looked great the last 2, 2.5 and 4 DK. Before that, we had 10.3, 4.6, and 11.1 in a 3-game span. And tough matchups. Look, versus Sheffield, this is a matchup that I think the talent of Loftus-Cheek is going to shine through. At 4,600, I think he's a very, very solid play. Curtis Jones, speaking of talent, Curtis Jones oozes talent. I hope, as a Liverpool fan, that Curtis Jones can remember his phenomenal Galactico goal versus Everton last season in the FA Cup. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. He just curls in a ball from about 30 yards in the top corner. No goalkeeper in the world could stop it. Curtis Jones, phenomenally talented player. Look, he doesn't always get in the best DFS positions the way that Liverpool plays. Look, the Liverpool midfield, it's important to note, their job is to work for the front line, work for Salah, work for Mane, get them the ball back so that those 2 can attack. So Curtis Jones does have to play a lot of defensive responsibilities, but you're getting a midfielder that's an attacking source for 4,400 for the biggest favorite and the highest total. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Oliver Norwood, I expect to be one of the kind of the cashy players. Look, the biggest concern with Norwood is that it's the final game. Like, we don't necessarily know if he is going to play, which is why a guy like Loftus-Cheek or a guy like Harrison Reed and the strategy of making sure you keep that utility open is going to be crucial in case he doesn't. But Norwood was great versus West Ham. John Fleck didn't play. Norwood took a majority of set pieces, had 7 crosses, 2 shots attempted. Honestly, he normally does a little bit more defensively. He only had 1 tackle but en route to 9 DK. At 4,000, 90K in the slate would be absolute gold. So if we can get even 6 to 7 from a guy like Norwood, we are cruising, and we will love where we're sitting, especially if we got goals from Salah and Mane in the game before. Finally, just want to bring up Harrison Reed. Look, back in the championship a year ago, Harrison Reed actually for a while was taking the majority of their set pieces. 2 games ago against Everton, I think he got on like 1 or 2 corners, was taking a couple free kicks en route to 11.9 floor points. Played him midweek versus Burnley. Look, at 4,000, he got me 5 DK. He was just fine. 5 DK again for 3,900. We'll accept that. And he played 90 now and a couple straight. So I think from a value perspective, Harrison Reed makes a ton of sense. Defender, Trent Alexander-Arnold stands above the pack of the entire slate when it comes to floor. Listen to the last 3 games, and this isn't even including Champions League midweek where he crushed as well. 19.2 floor points versus Leicester, 11 crosses, 3 shots, 2 shots assisted, 5 tackles won, got a lot of more corners back, is taking free kicks, finally looking like the Trent Alexander-Arnold of 2020, who was just a DFS goldmine. Versus Manchester City, an incredibly tough matchup, 12.5 DK. Versus Brighton, 15.2 DK. You get the picture. For 7,400, he has the best floor on the slate and is a lock in my lineups, and why he's the cover of this video. After him, Robertson is the other guy that, you could pay up for. I think it's really tough on the slate to pay 6,800 for him. But like, if you have the money, he splits corners with Alexander-Arnold, so I get it. But then there's a severe drop off. They've really priced up the Burnley guys. 5,800 for Taylor, 5,400 for Lowton. It's way too much. And then the Fulham guys, since they've changed the formation, just really haven't been attacking that much. So it's tough. Goalie, play whoever you want. I told you this last time. I'm going to do one last goalie strategy. Hell, I probably will do this every week. Plug in the cheapest guy, fill in your lineup. If you have the money, start changing it up. But, Liverpool's been tough defensively in terms of like just making mistakes. Allison finally kept a clean sheet midweek. So if you have the money to pay up for Allison, that's fine. I think if I'm paying up, I actually prefer to go in the really low total games. So Pope and Areola, I think, make a lot more sense. But look, I have no problem playing the guy that fits. So if, I can get Johnstone, that's fine. If it's Ramsdale, I probably prefer Johnstone to Ramsdale. I think that Burnley might struggle to score. Wow, can I say it? Struggle to score more than Fulham could. But hell, if you wanted to play Jordan Pickford and just play for a ton of shots coming at him, every time that Salah or Mane shoots and Jordan Pickford saves it, that's 4 DK. So whatever, it works. Goalie is the last position that you should prioritize, in my opinion, and how I play. There's high variance. You're better off spending the money for players that you can predict what they're going to get, and then just kind of accept goalie variance as it goes. All right, finally, just going to give you one pick. I'm going to stay away from the homer pick. I don't love, on the money line having to get minus 200 for Liverpool, but I do think that Fulham takes care of business at home versus Sheffield United. You get a little bit of plus EV money. If your book has them as a pick 'em where you can get a push if it draws, I prefer that. But I really do think that Fulham's playing good football. I don't think that they've been rewarded for how well they're playing lately. So Sheffield, they just laid a huge egg versus West Ham. So just like how Fulham's playing, I think that Fulham has a really good chance to stay up this year if they can just start getting, a little more luck. Hell, they'd be up if they would be making their PKs to start the season. So like Fulham here, I think there's good value. So that is my best bet of the week. All right, that'll do it. If you've made it this long, you get one more plug for my site, fsidfs.com. Make sure, if you really just want to see what we've got going on, our YouTube channel is where to find so much of our content. And all the guys on our team do phenomenal work on that channel. So make sure you check it out and give us a subscribe at FSIDFS. And finally, once again, thank you to the Mayo Media Network. This has been a phenomenal opportunity. I'm so happy to be a part of the team. So give this channel a subscribe, a like, and comment with your favorite midfielder. Once again, Keith Jamison, Gator Guy 231. See ya.